Andrea Tessmann.
Hi, Kirk Buchner.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. Do you remember? Probably not. Late 1982.
I do not.
What if I did this? Oh, Mickey, you're so
Mickey,
fine.
you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Mickey. Okay, that's not that.
That song is awful and awesome. I don't sing.
I do agree with you.
Yeah, I don't sing too many songs, but I think this is actually both. And Toni Basil, who I erroneously thought of as this one-hit wonder blip on a radar a few years ago. Holy shit, was I wrong.
So I have the same kind of opinion as you. I thought that I never really thought much about the song. Mm-hmm. I thought she was a little teeny bopper, one-hit wonder. Never paid a whole lot of attention to the video, which we'll get into how integral the video is to the song. So it was just this like catchy but annoying song that like I wouldn't go out of my way to turn off if it came on the radio. And, you know, goofing around, someone starts, you sing along or you do some parody of it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of that level of almost gag song. Yeah. And then this week has just kind of blown my mind about who this person is. Yeah.
It blew your mind. Hey, Mickey. and the amazing thing is you and I, we've covered, because the literal name of the show is How the Hell Did This Go Number One? And we have covered some great songs and some utter shit, but we've covered our share of one-hit wonders. Toni Basil is a one-hit wonder. Yes. Mm-hmm. If you, and I kind of want to play this game, like, if at some point in time we ever get to go like hang out with some of these people, that's not even going to be one of the things I'd ever ask her about. There's like 10 other things I can come up with to Toni.
So she seems like a really cool person. Yeah. Just this like fun-loving, funky, hip, interesting person. Mm-hmm. Did you see the videos of her dancing at 75?
Yes.
It just made me fucking smile. Like just the sheer joy in what she does. Mm-hmm. So why don't we start talking a bit about her?
Yeah, Toni is, so I'm just going to go like from my own personal experience. So like I remember this song when I was 10, because that would have been in 82. And so like a 10-year-old Kirk loved this because it was catchy as shit. And it was. The music snob in me later sort of like looked down on it. Now, knowing that it's one of those rare one-hit wonders that everyone remembers. If I do this, like I use my wife as an example all the time. Polly knows the song. She couldn't tell you the first thing about Toni Basil, but she knows this song because everybody knows the song. And we'll get to that. It's actually not her song later, but Toni first sort of like became somebody in 1964, which blew my fucking mind. Jesus Christ.
So I fully thought that she was like a teeny bopper, maybe early 20s when this song came out. The high-pitched, kind of squeaky voice. I mean, the cheerleader uniform. Didn't really look too closely at it. We didn't have high-def TVs back in the day. She was fucking 39 years old.
Yeah.
Like, this was not the beginning of her career.
No.
She started as a dancer. So she was born to a vaudeville performer mother and a musician father. And she was involved with dancing and acting when she was in her early 20s, if not teens. Mm-hmm. Has performed with Sinatra, with Elvis, with like.
Well, let's look at that in the mid 60s. So like by 1965, she was already in an Elvis movie with Anne Margaret as sort of like a solo dancer in one little bit. She did a bit with in one of those many beach movies. So by 1965, she already worked with Elvis, the biggest star you and I could sort of like talk about Elvis, not in the maybe the most positive way musically, but Elvis is still a legend. I mean, I think we can. I don't care who you are, and if you hate Elvis, Elvis is a legend.
Yep.
Anne Margaret, she's still alive, right? I think so.
I have no idea. I think so.
Yeah, I think she's still alive. Those beach films, Sinatra, like holy shit, that's by 1965.
She was in Easy Rider.
Yes, I mean, like here's the Jeopardy question. Okay, so who's worked with Elvis Presley, Jack Nicholson, the Monkees, and Leonardo DiCaprio? I'll take Toni Basil for 1,000, please. Like, holy shit!
Not to mention Quentin Tarantino.
Yes! Like, and we haven't even got there yet. Like, oh my fucking God. Like,
Yeah.
if we do that proverbial lunch with somebody or dinner or something like that, like...
I would have never thought of her before, but after looking at her...
Yes. Holy shit. She was a legend way before she did this song. And did you see her? I should have sent you this, but you probably saw this already because you and I seem to always find the same stuff. Did you see her on Soul Train?
Yeah.
So Toni Basil, after Easy Rider, so that would have been 1969, she goes into sort of hip hop dancing. She's in the hip hop dance hall of fame or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was, what's the dance group?
The Lock.
Yeah. Founding member.
I didn't know that.
I mean, you look at the other members of the group, they're all black dudes.
Yeah.
This is a like avant-garde street dancing troupe. And there's this petite white girl in with these all these black dudes.
Not only that, she would have been 10 years older than them at that time too. Because, like, did you ever see, and this is where our age difference will sort of show up here. Did you ever see the show What's Happening?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Rerun was in that group.
Yep.
I didn't know that. I had no idea that Toni Basil hung out with Rerun. That's, for me, that's bigger than hanging out with Elvis. Like when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a black guy. What's Happening? The Jeffersons, Sanford and Son, they were the funniest fuckers on the planet. I wanted to be the guy who said, "Goddamn honky." I don't know.
Instead, you were the goddamn honky.
I was the goddamn honky. I didn't really understand that as an 8 or 9-year-old, but which might explain why I told Pauline, and for those who are just watching this, my wife's Indonesian. So I told her one time that if we ever wind up in Indonesia, like living there, which, as a hotelier, it's not completely impossible. I said to her, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to go into acting. I'm going to learn Indonesian so that I can be the asshole white guy in these films. Because I think
I like that idea.
Wouldn't I look the part, like sort of like as the asshole white guy?
So this woman,
yeah, bringing us back.
Bringing us back. Let's just circle back here. So she's already built up a name in dance and choreography, bit parts and acting. And
she sang a bit too. Did you see her on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
Because
that was the first season of Saturday Night Live.
I had no idea.
Before they had any idea what was funny. And they've forgotten that multiple times over the years.
Well,
it was this year. I still love Lorne Michaels, but that's okay. So anyways, so she then decides to make this song. She isn't signed to a record label, but and MTV isn't really a thing yet.
No, not at this point. It wouldn't have been.
So she just figures she's going to record the song and make a dance video of it and use that video to promote the song. And it was getting no airplay in the States. So she then sent it to Europe and Asia, Japan, where it got a whole lot of play. And so this is another circumstance of a DJ being highly responsible for a song's popularity, and also MTV, because this was one of the very, very first music videos that MTV actually started with.
Let's look at this video though too. I mean, like, I used to rag on this video, and I still can. You know.
She's got the crazy eyes. It's all about the crazy eyes. Mickey, yes, a fun, yes, a fun.
You don't have the eyeliner though.
No, I need a lot more eyeliner for that.
I will say, I think after last week too, just like, holy shit, like, I think you and I have talked way too much about women's makeup. Some people might think that I might be playing on a different team. I'm not, and there's nothing wrong with that, but holy shit, she wears a lot of makeup.
That video, she looks like a clown, but I think that's also a style in the time.
So did the cheerleaders. Like, I honestly think that she picked the biggest, buffest cheerleaders to make herself look good, because those other cheerleaders are fucking hideous.
Those cheerleaders apparently are like, they were at the time a like nationally ranked cheerleading team, which makes sense because if you look at them, you've got two really big solid girls and you've got a couple of very small girls.
Complimentary.
Well, no, because anytime you start having to have pyramids and throwing and things like that, you need some stocky strength.
I watched Bring It On. There was no stocky girls in that. We'll get to that. But anyway, yeah, please. Sorry.
Bring It On. Really?
Really?
Did you watch that in preparation for this? Because the song in the ending credits was, they sang this?
I did not, but that's my knowledge of cheerleader stuff. And when I went to high school, I was a complete nerd and I didn't go to any games, so I don't know anything. Anyways,
with any sort of cheerleading or gymnastics, when they start doing aerials, you need strong people to support those pyramids. So the actual composition of that cheerleading team made sense. She is very petite. And apparently at 39 years old was wearing her high school cheerleading sweater. So there's that.
Which she still has.
Which she does still have. Yes. But this video, she looks crazed. So I'd seen the video before, obviously, and never really thought much of it aside from it was weird and is like this crazed girl, like cheerleading and like, but knowing now that she was 39, an adult, and all of that was deliberate. Like, she actually, there's so much crazy intonation in this song. She's not monotone cheerleading chanting it. I mean, there's the cheerleading chant that's fine, it's monotone. But the song itself, she's put a lot of inflection and emphasis and, I don't know, creativity, but like she sounds like a crazy person.
Well, let's look at the song itself, because like this was not a Toni Basil original. This was I'm blanking on the British band that came up with it, and it's irrelevant because it wasn't a hit. But it was the original song called Kitty, and I'm sure you probably listened to that one too, which is utter shit. It's a terrible song. I actually had to listen to it twice to actually make sure that they were actually that Kitty was a girl, not an actual cat, because there's no sexuality in that song whatsoever.
No,
it's terrible. And I've heard in many interviews that when Toni got a hold of it, or whoever the producers were, I couldn't really find out who that was, but it was Toni's idea to sort of like do the cheer.
Yeah, and she didn't take a writing credit for it, which she should have, because she would have made millions.
Oh, she didn't? Okay, I didn't catch that.
She did not take a writing credit for it.
Oh, man. No.
But
I'm heartbroken hearing that, really.
Like, I think she's done well enough for herself anyways, but no, she could have made millions if she'd done that. But whatever. She just added in the little cheer chant, which is what everybody remembers.
Did you see also too, like before that she did the, I think it was before the Talking Heads Once in a Lifetime? The video for that, or like
I thought that was just him having a seizure. I never realized that was actually choreographed.
Will you may ask yourself? I can't do it. It's not working. I'm seeing myself in the reflect. It's not.
No, it's not working.
No. Damn it, I should have stuck with my other impressions.
I didn't find even her choreography in this. So, okay, so she later in life was a judge on So You Think You Can Dance.
Was she? I didn't know that.
For a season or two, or maybe she was a guest judge. It might have only been a few episodes, but again, she was.
That video though. Can we go back to that video though? Just like one other thing with that. So like when I look at that video as sort of like a vacuum, because that's just how I remember this in my head before I was sort of like doing a lot of research on that. And I later learned she was more of a choreographer like a few years ago before I went to a deep dive. This song and that video does not do her credit to what she's capable of, which is
that's what I was getting at. Okay. Is that, you know, she because of her choreography and because she's so well respected in the industry, in the dance industry, looking at that video, it's like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But then you think about it, and okay, she started out in the early 60s. She was a go-go dancer. And then you think about the time period between the, 62 and 82. It's 20 years. So that's like me thinking about the dance crazes of when I was in my early 20s. Like, okay, granted, it was not really much dance. People were just shuffling around to Nirvana in the, 90s, but that was now 30 years ago. But anyways, but you think about, you're like,
do this.
the 80s are such a different era in terms of popular culture than the 60s. We don't think about how close together in terms of chronology they actually are. And it's the same thing now. 90s are coming back. Early 2000s are starting to come back. We seem to be on 20-year cycles of pop culture. So
true.
At this point, it was early in that new age fad where they're really pushing the 60s. So I think, and honestly, if you asked me when I was 10, I would have just assumed this song was from the 60s. I wouldn't have really thought it was 80s. And then you look at her dancing and you look at everything about it. It's definitely that new age 60s with a punk edge to it.
I think also too, like whatever the keyboard is, like that also makes it too.
Oh yeah. Oh, I wish I could remember the quote, but as I said, I forgot my phone at home and I can't read it. But there was one from Stereo Gum where he was saying that it has all of the markers of a good pop song, one being that specific keyboard. I can't even remember a cheerleader rhyme, something, and a maybe not intentional sexual innuendo.
Yeah.
So you know about the sexual innuendo part of it, right?
This song is sort of desexualized to me, even though like lyrically when you're listening to it, I mean, like if you're listening, like Mickey's an asshole.
Mickey's an asshole. But there is the probably unintentional reference to anal intercourse.
Oh, yeah, but even she said that there was nothing to that.
Well, no, and the original song is by a guy about a girl. So saying, take it like a man, it's like, all right, well, whatever, but when she sang it, she does it all coy and be like, I'll take it like a man. Like, okay, you know that you're being you're giving some double entendre there. I'm not saying it's about butt sex. It's only about butt sex if you want it to be about butt sex.
I think we're reaching when it comes, like, there are some definite songs about ass sex. Gene Simmons of Kiss has a song that was like a, goddamn, what was it? I forget, something where it's like, I thought about the back door, and then he asked him about it. It's like, and you know the songs about. This is my Gene Simmons impression, by the way. So, and you know the songs kind of about.
You're too coherent. And you need to mumble more.
Random thing. I'm gonna segue here. My beautiful, because I do that. My beautiful wife, who used to work at the Royal York. Did I ever tell you that she met a lot of celebrities there?
I know of many, but continue.
Okay. Most people were super nice, except for two people. Gene Simmons, he was a complete asshole. And try to guess who the, oh shit, yeah, you really could surf on my hair. My God. Try to guess who the second one is. It's a father of a celebrity, of a Canadian celebrity, who said, do you know who I am?
No idea.
Bieber's dad. I'm Justin Bieber's dad. Everyone else has been super kind. Gerard Butler, the Prime Minister. Flavor Flav was apparently the nicest person she ever met. Who's the biggest asshole? Who said, you know who I am? Bieber's dad.
Nice.
Yeah. Back to where we were. We were talking about butt sex.
So there's some controversy about that one line, which I don't think there's anything to it,
No.
but tee-hee. What else about the song? There's got to be more that I was going to say, because I thought I had a lot.
There was just something about that too. It's still, for a song from 1982 that does sound old, it doesn't sound that old. I mean, it's one of those songs that you can just sort of like bring back and just have a little kid dance to it and have fun and make it sound innocent. Because lyrically, you're really not paying attention to it. Because if you really pay attention to it, again, like we said, Mickey's a dipshit. And for Toni or the narrator or whatever, I mean, like, if it's sung by a female, it's like, okay, why you would say, like, why are you being with this guy? If it's sung by a guy, it's like, you're a cuck.
Yep, pretty much.
You know, and
I think that's probably why, you know, they're playing up that teenage look, but as an adult woman singing it, she's playing up the like crazy, because
I think she even thought of that, or is just like, okay, like, I used to be a cheerleader and I'm just gonna have fun with this and I'm gonna make it a cheerleader song. I don't think
I'm sure that that's part of it. It's just, we're gonna make it a cheerleader song, but it's but the look on her face and the intonation and a lot of what she says and the way she says it is really not stable.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of some girlfriends of mine over the years that have gone nutso over guys. Thankfully,
Anyone I know?
No, but when I was that age, it was before the days of social media and cell phones. So you couldn't totally make an ass of yourself. You could just leave 38 messages on their voicemail.
So no boob pics.
Or dick pics.
Or dick pics.
If we want to go back to that.
Well, I'm thinking of your girlfriends wouldn't send a dick pic, but I mean, like,
no, I'm just reverting back to an earlier conversation about how we were discussing that dick pics are weird and gross.
Although nowadays, I mean, like, your girlfriends could send a dick pic and that's okay.
It's never okay to send a dick pic without consent. But also, it's not okay to send a boob pic without consent. How about we just all have consent when we're sending pictures?
I've had people, yeah. It's funny. Oh shit! It's my show. I'll say whatever the hell I want. Got married before all that stuff, but then I had a stalker who sent me like all that stuff. I showed that to Pauline. She thought it was kind of funny, which is interesting. I guess she really trusts me.
I would find it funny too.
It is.
You know what? If you're in a relationship with someone, especially if they show you that, you got to laugh at it, because I mean, there's no point being mad. It's not like if you were soliciting that stuff, you wouldn't be showing it to her.
No, God.
A sign of a solid relationship that you can laugh over the unsolicited genitalia that's sent to you.
It was very, yes, there was that too. That the boob pic she laughed at. The other parts, no. And I did not take it like a man.
All right. So do we have anything else to say about this song?
Yeah. Actually, not so much about the song. I mean, like, she worked recently, and I think this is also awesome, in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I did not, I think I knew this when I watched that movie. I love that movie, and just saw her in the end credits. And I just, that she worked with DiCaprio, sort of like showing him how to do whatever dance this is, or whatever that was. So I just think, like, she's got to be the only one who ever worked with Elvis and DiCaprio. Has to be. For those who are watching this, I would like to encourage you to look up Toni Basil, just Toni Basil dancing, and you will find a montage of her dancing in the 60s. You'll probably also find an interview that she did with some morning show. I hate morning shows, but I did watch this because it was awesome. And it's where she's 73, 74, and she's replicating the Mickey dance. And I mean, yeah, she's obviously older, but her body moves just like the same way it always did.
I saw another interview, and she said she dances every day.
Yeah.
She said absolutely every day. It's what she does.
I think I can honestly say, Andrea, like, out of all the people we've talked about, and this is what, episode 30 something, I don't even know. A lot of the people we've talked about are dead, but I think if we had the opportunity to just sort of like hang out with one of these people, I don't think we're going to be able to beat Toni Basil. I really don't. Maybe.
Not in the people we've talked to. Certainly not going to be Marky Mark.
Ouch. But I thought you sort of like wanted to have some good vibrations.
No, I just told you I think he's hot. I didn't say anything beyond that. But yeah, you look up Toni Basil, and you look up her. There's one where she's sitting in on like a dance workshop, and then towards the end of it, the guy recognizes her, and it's like, no, you got to get up and dance. And she's like, oh, I haven't prepared anything. And it's like, no, you have to get up and dance. And so she gets up and dances. And yeah, no, she at 75, 76, whatever she is now, is awesome. Vibrant, and wears excellent hats. I gotta respect a woman who's got good hats.
Okay. I didn't know that that's how we're going to end it, but I guess that's an end. What do we got next week? Because it's your call.
Well, I decided to take some inspiration from Ms. Basil and go with another artist who started out as a choreographer.
Okay.
But went way more mainstream.
All right, give me a year. I want to try to guess this.
All right. Well, I could give a few obvious ones. 6 #1 hits.
Oh crap! We're not doing Paula Abdul, are we?
We are doing Paula Abdul in the one where she's dancing with a wolf.
No!
Opposites attract.
Oh God! Okay.
You've thrown a few pieces of crap at me lately. I wanted to throw one right back at you.
All right. So I guess we're gonna be talking about Arsenio Hall. Damn. Okay. All right. Well,
come on.
I have.
There's a lot to talk about.
She's went to #1 6 times?
Mm-hmm.
Holy fuck.
Tied for the 7th highest number of #1 hits for a woman.
Okay, so This one straight up.
I can't even remember the names of the other 6. There were 4 on her first album. This straight up and 2 others that I'm blanking on. And then there were 2 later.
Yeah, this one was awful just from that video where she's all horny for a cartoon.
So terrible.
Oh, man.
But so good.
Paula Abdul was like one of the hot, like, God, I would have been, I'll say this now, screw it. I would have been, 17, 18, so like, I thought she was like one of the hottest women ever at that point in time. I can't say I think that now. She's, not because she doesn't look good, she looks fine, it's just, she's such a train wreck.
You know we were going to get to her eventually with 6 number 1 hits.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Kirk.
Yeah, thanks. Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Stay safe, everyone. We are going to be back when we're back.
Maybe next week, maybe not.
Maybe, yeah.
Bye.
Exactly.